Vani, Shivananda Vani, or For the Seekers of God, by Swami Shivanand Maharaj, जिनको कि महापुरुष महाराज भी कहा जाता था. उनको महापुरुष महाराज के नाम से ही ज़्यादा प्रसिद्ध थे. स्वामी शिवानंद जी. आज हम करेंगे the 7th chapter or the 7th part, right? Here it is talking about the self is ageless, without beginning and end. First point. Second point discussed is that world is an illusion. Third, the monastery chapel, a veritable Kailash. कुछ नहीं है, जो हमारा मंदिर है वही हमारे लिए कैलाश है. और नेक्स्ट, द अर्ली मॉर्निंग एन आइडियल टाइम फॉर मेडिटेशन, डेज ऑफ एस्टेसी विद द मास्टर. तो वो श्री रामकृष्ण जी के साथ जो भी टाइम स्पेंड किया उसके बारे में भी वो बातचीत आज करेंगे. तो सबसे पहले जगह है बेलूर मठ और संडे का दिन है अक्टूबर 1923. It was Sunday, about 9 in the morning. Mahapurush ji was seated on a couch in his room. Many devotees were assembled and interesting things were under discussion. Becoming inquisitive, a devotee asked, Maharaj, how old are you? अब उनकी उम्र पूछी गई. Maharaj answers, you asked the age of my body? I don't know exactly. Most probably, it would be about 70 or 72. Devotee. In that case, you would be 3 times older than we. Swamiji, possibly 3 times. Why 3 times? I have existed through eternity. The self, unaffected by disease and old age, is beginningless, endless, eternal and immortal. So this self, I, जिसे हम कहते हैं मैं, वो beginningless है, उसका कोई beginning नहीं है, starting नहीं है, उसका कोई end नहीं है, वो हमेशा हमेशा के लिए रहेगा. It is pure, illumined and free. It dwells in every being as consciousness itself. So I am conscious because of the self. This counting of age by years, 10, 20, 50 or 100 and so on, is a figment of ignorance. The immutable being, whose nature is truth, exists eternally without undergoing any change at any time. So the I, that is me, it never changes. This world fashioned by ignorance is illusionary. And our whole trouble comes from mistaking the illusionary for the real. Deer often mistakes a mirage of water and jumps into it in a body. From a distance, the sand appears a vast expanse of water with a play of waves. Duped by this appearance, the deer run and run for the water and finally lose their lives in the sand. In a similar way, a man who considers this ephemeral world real causes himself endless sorrow. He is scorched here, as it were. Not for a moment does he think he will someday have to leave this world. He wants, foolishly, to arrange his affairs on a permanent basis. Perhaps he buys a brick house, a large estate, and does other things of that sort. Yet, however he tries to make things permanent, how long will they last? So, महाराज बता ही रहे हैं कि ज़्यादा दिन तक नहीं चलता. मरना तो हमें पड़ेगा ही, जाना तो हमें पड़ेगा ही. तो ये बॉडी इटर्नल नहीं है, बट आई एम इटर्नल. दैट इज़ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. आई डोंट डाई. I am beginningless, I am endless. Addressing an elderly gentleman, the Swami said, "Now please go to the chapel after washing yourself in the Ganga." तो वो मंदिर जाने के लिए बोल रहे हैं. We have made our chapel a veritable Kailash or Vaikunt. Vaikunt, which is the abode of Shiva and Vishnu respectively. दो, कैलाश और वैकुंठ दोनों ही हैं. तो ये जो मंदिर है हमारा, ये कैलाश भी है, वैकुंठ भी है. मतलब शिव जी और विष्णु जी दोनों ही यहाँ पे है. There in the chapel is the living presence of Sri Ramakrishna and also of the Holy Mother, Swamiji and other disciples of the Master. तो सब है. श्री रामकृष्ण रहते हैं, उनकी सहधर्मिणी जिनको हम माँ कहते हैं श्री शारदा देवी वो भी रहती हैं, और स्वामी विवेकानंद जिनको कि स्वामी जी कहा जाता है, और बाकी सब जितने भी उनके डिसाइपल्स थे, श्री रामकृष्ण जी के जितने भी उनके शिष्य थे, सब वहाँ रहते हैं. Whenever I enter the chapel, I feel that I am in Kailash itself. Often I go there and sit for meditation, and my heart is filled with joy. Addressing a monk who was seated near, the Swami said, "Where do you go to the chapel? When do you go to the chapel?" The monk, "In the morning, about 9 or 10, and again in the evening." "Don't you go there early in the morning?" The monk, "No, Maharaj. Early in the morning I meditate on my bed." तो मैं बिस्तर में बैठा रहता हूँ. अब महाराज क्या बोल रहे हैं? Why on the bed? Get up early, wash yourself, go to the chapel to meditate there. Why of all places do you meditate on the bed? It is not a good practice. ये ठीक नहीं है. Of course, when sitting elsewhere is inconvenient, it is different. We have learned from experience that the moment you sit on the bed, you feel lethargic and sleepy. तो बिस्तर में बैठने से लेटने का मन करता है, यही बता रहे हैं. The bed and its pillow have a tendency to pull you down and make you go to sleep. If possible, I try to avoid sitting on the bed. At the early hours of dawn, when the chapel is not open, I may sit for a while on the bed, but later I go to the chapel and enjoy meditation there. The morning is the ideal time for meditation. It is silent and quiet all around. Nature is peaceful. With little effort, the mind becomes absorbed in meditation. Invariably, I awaken when the clock strikes 3. तो वो सुबह 3 बजे उठते हैं. Whatever be the time of my going to bed. We noticed that the master would not sleep at all after 3 o'clock. Master मतलब श्री रामकृष्ण 3 बजे के बाद नहीं सोते थे. He was in the habit of sleeping lightly. An hour or two sufficed for him. Arising from bed, he would start taking the name of the Lord. Sometimes he chanted Om, sometimes he clapped his hands and repeated the name of the mother, or perhaps he walked up and down taking the name of Hari. He would awaken those of us who were sleeping in his room. उनके कमरे में जो भी था, उन सभी को वो उठा दिया करते थे. Approaching us one by one, he would say, "My boys, are you awake? Get up and take the name of the Lord." उठो उठो, भगवान का नाम लो. His aesthetic chanting of God's name would be going on all the time. भगवान का नाम लेते लेते वो सबको बुलाया करते थे. Having no consciousness of the outer world, he would, while chanting something, go out on the adjoining porch, nude like a child. Some days, he would start kirtan accompanied with drums and cymbals, and we would join him. Mostly, he would sing only the name of God. Occasionally, improvising words and phrases. Sometimes he danced in ecstasy. तो आनंद से वो नाचते गाते सब कुछ करते थे श्री रामकृष्ण, और ये सब उन सभी को देखने को मिला है। how graceful was his dance. He would then be transformed beyond recognition. It is impossible to describe his unique spiritual raptures. He had an unusually sweet voice, the like of which we have never heard anywhere. The kirtan would continue till late hours of the morning. The master's ecstasies were contagious, making all aesthetic. तो ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। एक जना इतने आनंद से नाच रहा है, गा रहा है, तो उनको देख के बाकी लोगों का भी मन करता है, तो वो सब इन्फेक्शस होता है, कंटेजियस होता है। The ceaseless repetition of the Lord's name made the place a heaven. In what joy did we pass our days with the Master? Thinking of his association with Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Shivananda became deeply absorbed, as if unable to speak anymore. तो उनकी भी जवान एकदम बंद हो गई, वो भी मेडिटेशन में चले गए। श्री रामकृष्ण के बारे में सोचते सोचते वो एकदम उसी में खो गए। स्वामी शिवानंद जी भी खो गए। अब ये बताते बताते कि कितना आनंद है, बता रहे हैं यही कि कितना आनंद है भगवान के नाम पे, ये श्री रामकृष्ण दिखा कर गए हैं। आशा है आज का ये पाठ आपको अच्छा लगा होगा। हम फिर हाजिर होंगे एक और चैप्टर के साथ ऑफ दिस फॉर द सीकर्स ऑफ गॉड, शिवानंद वानी। तब तक के लिए देवाक्षर के साथ जुड़े रहिए। चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, वीडियोस को दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिए और लाइक का बटन ज़रूर दबाएं। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।